Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Hello and welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. You can join us each and every weekday live all throughout the day for the latest news and information from around the Greater West Bloomfield community on cable television, on Comcast, that's channel 15, and on AT&T on channel 99, your community public access, education, and government TV channels guide. You can also find us in high definition online. Arguably the best place to watch us is CivicCenterTV.com on our Watch Live page or on our homepage while you explore our brand new program schedule, let you know when everything's going to air every single day, or look through our recent programming as well. You can also find us live every single day on Facebook via Facebook Live, facebook.com/Civic Center TV 15, and on YouTube via YouTube Live, as well as on demand on YouTube immediately after each and every one of our shows. YouTube.com, just search Civic Center TV West Bloomfield to find our shows live and on demand on YouTube. You can also listen to us on the radio as you're driving throughout town in the morning. Hey, maybe, right around the rush hour times during the morning or the afternoon, you're driving through the Orchard Lake corridor of the community and maybe stuck in traffic. A great time to get up to date on what's going on in your communities and maybe know about a detour you can take to a fun event that evening on 89.3 Lakes FM and on lakesfm.com. There's a lot of fun that happened on Wednesday night because of the sunshine. We start off our day today with a lot of sunshine, Diane, but is that going to be the case the rest of this Thursday and into Friday and the weekend?
Tyler, unfortunately, it's not going to be the case. We're expecting partly cloudy skies, and the clouds are expected to increase as we go through the afternoon, with chances of rain in the early evening. And there might also be chances of thunderstorms as we go into the late evenings. We're expecting a high of 77 and lows of 57. But good news is Friday and Saturday are sunny, beautiful days with highs of 76 and 59 for Friday. Clear skies on both Friday and Saturday. And as we go into the weekend, Saturday, we're expecting higher temperatures of 83 and lows of 64, Tyler.
Yeah, looking like those rainstorms going to begin today in the early parts of the afternoon with some rain. It'll get heavier as you go into the middle portions of the afternoon with thunderstorms in the mid-afternoon and scattered storms throughout the afternoon and the evening today. And a lot of the same going to be happening, has been happening throughout the week and over the later portions of last week, but some sunshine ahead of that as well. So not all bad news on the weather front in the Greater West Bloomfield community. Making headlines across our community on this Thursday, the Orchard Lake Road construction project is making progress across the Greater West Bloomfield community. We'll take a look at that, as well as how cities like Sylvan Lake and Keego Harbor are addressing some of the detour traffic that's unfortunately going through community roads. Sylvan Lake has put in speed bumps, and Keego Harbor has a temporary traffic order in place. We'll talk about both of those conditions, why they're in place, and who they affect during today's show. A sunny night and tons of turnout at Gino's Pre-Dream Cruise car show on Wednesday night. We'll get a look at all the cars and talk about a couple of the prize winners as well. In Sylvan Lake, a community cleanup has been organized to clean up the actual lake this weekend. We'll tell you how you can get involved and help clean up one of the hallmarks of the prettiest little city in the state of Michigan. The Walk for Friendship event through the Friendship Circle is coming back. Bassi Shemtov will join us on today's program to talk about this year's event and other ways you can get involved with the Friendship Circle. Matt Catoni, our sports reporter and color commentator for our upcoming football games, will join us to talk about some of West Bloomfield's athletes on the gridiron and on the ice making headlines this week. In addition, the West Bloomfield Police Department is looking to hire a new officer, and a restaurant in Sylvan Lake is seeking some new employees as they get ready to open very soon, formally to the public. A fun event coming up very soon also that happens every single year. West Bloomfield School District's Family Fun Night officially has its date set for Friday, September 8th. We'll give you the details on all the fun happening there. Temple Israel and the Jewish Foundation are rallying community support to raise funds for relief for those affected by the wildfires in Maui. In Hawaii. Temple Israel is also looking for volunteers for their monthly food pantry, a fresh food pantry also. So we'll give you details on how you can get involved in that. Plus, St. Anastasia Catholic Church is doing their annual blessing of vehicles as we get ready for the Woodward Dream Cruise. We'll give you information on how you can get your vehicle blessed as you get ready to go cruising all throughout the later portions of this week and throughout the weekend. Maybe taking Thursday night off due to the storms and the rainy conditions out there to protect those vehicles. But plenty going on all throughout our community. We'll dive into each and every one of these headlines coming up next on The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right and find the Accessibilities tab. Then just switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19 he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. The biggest story in our local community of late has been the construction on Orchard Lake Road. For some, really for many, as it's a major thoroughfare throughout all four of our communities, but it's all for good reason from the Road Commission for Oakland County, improving the future of that road and the way that traffic flows throughout that corridor of the community. Our Anthony Giuba on his final day went out and got some video. Here's some looks at the progress on Orchard Lake Road at this time. The tear out of one set of lanes has now expanded from being just at that Commerce Road area to really all throughout the corridors. You're looking in front of Bosco, the old Bosco's location, and the lodge on Orchard Lake Road in Keego Harbor, just before the border into Sylvan Lake. Here's another look near Cass Lake on Orchard Lake Road as construction continues on. Looks like at that portion of the day, middle of the day, in the afternoon, those off portions of the day when you're not having rush hour traffic continues to flow through pretty easily, albeit slower than usual. You're seeing at this location by the Dairy Queen in Keego Harbor, they have taken out two of the lanes of Orchard Lake Road, but have two lanes that would normally be going in the same direction being used as essentially one way each way on Orchard Lake Road under these current circumstances. So that is the major change at this time. That being said, still expect slower speeds, bigger delays during those high traffic times of the day. You think about morning rush hour from, let's say, roughly 7 o'clock in the morning until about 10 o'clock in the morning. You know, thinking about that morning rush, having more congested traffic later in the afternoon, maybe 4 o'clock through 6 o'clock. That's going to be those times where you see a lot of those delays as people are getting back into the community slowly but surely, or trying to get out of the community to either Telegraph or other major thoroughfares like Middle Belt to get through the Greater West Bloomfield area through Tri-City. So still want to give yourself plenty of time to get from point A to point Z each and every day as you're traveling throughout this corridor of the community. That does not mean taking detours, however, into our city streets in Keego Harbor and in Sylvan Lake. In fact, both of these cities have taken some action to prevent these detours from happening. In Sylvan Lake, concerns about speed from detouring traffic going through the community on those roads that are not intended for high speeds. The speed limit's 25 miles per hour on the vast majority of city streets. And not to mention, these streets tend to be thinner. They have some weird twists and turns and nuances that are not common in many city streets. And so because of that, Sylvan Lake has strategically installed 2 speed bumps on Beverly Street, which is a major thoroughfare heading toward Orchard Lake through the city of Sylvan Lake at this time. Those speed bumps are intended to reduce the speed of traffic through Sylvan Lake, maybe even prevent some people from traveling through city streets, which is the recommendation of the city. Do not go through their city streets. Just continue down Orchard Lake Road and mind the traffic backups. In these cases, the police department in Sylvan Lake also is going to be providing more traffic enforcement during those rush hour periods where there is a lot of delays. The majority of the delays you'll experience on Orchard Lake Road, and therefore more people trying these sorts of detours through city streets to get from Orchard Lake Road to another location or get out on Orchard Lake Road further up without waiting for this traffic to move forward. That is not the case in Keego Harbor, where these speed bumps are not in place, but a temporary traffic order is in place. That means you could get ticketed for being a non-resident, taking a detour through these Keego Harbor streets, or using those streets as a cut through instead of going to use those streets to get to your home or to somebody's home that you know in the community. There's no cut through traffic allowed on Keego Harbor streets to get from Orchard Lake Road to Cass Lake Road or Cass Lake to Orchard Lake Road. They have signs that are up in place in Keego Harbor saying local traffic only, and the same goes for those trying to go cutting from Orchard Lake Road back onto Orchard Lake Road in another location. The primary concern here from the Keego Harbor Police Department and the city office is the safety of the residents. Much like in Sylvan Lake, those streets not intended for higher speeds or for a large sum of traffic moving through them. That delays people that are trying to get through the city from point A to point Z, trying to get home. Certainly those speeds, especially if they're on both sides of the street from Orchard Lake traffic, it may cause some safety concerns, especially as kids are outside throughout the rest of the summer, whatever we have left. Approximately 11 days before the first day of school in the West Bloomfield School District, and similar situations in neighboring school districts like Pontiac, or even when we go back to school, that's going to create even more havoc on those streets. Keego Harbor police officers will be writing tickets for those violating the local traffic only, no through traffic violations. And that doesn't mean, hey, well, look, I live right up the street on Cass Lake Road in Waterford, so why can't I cut through to get to Cass Lake Road so I can get to Waterford quicker? It's right up the street. It's the next city over. That's not going to be a valid excuse under this traffic order. You will get ticketed in the city of Keego Harbor if you are using city streets as a cut through from Orchard Lake to Cass Lake or Orchard Lake back to Orchard Lake. Is local traffic only. That means if you're not going to your home in Keego Harbor, or you're not going to a location in Keego Harbor specifically, you're going to be in violation of that order. We would say at our team, if you don't have to go through the city streets, don't go through the city streets. If you can wait 10 minutes, wait 10 minutes. If you can't wait 10 minutes, well, that's tough. We're all dealing with this traffic. So the city of Keego Harbor has this order in place, and if you do violate that order, hey, we've made you aware. We've done the best that we can do. They've done the best that they can do in Keego Harbor to make sure you're informed that this order is in place. Do not use city streets as cut-throughs. That also includes in Sylvan Lake, where they've put these speed bumps in place. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, a way that you can get involved with one of our great local community nonprofit organizations at their annual fundraiser, and also get some time outdoors in late August. The Walk for Friendship is coming up in just a little over a week, and Bassi Shemtov from the Friendship Circle will join us next to talk about this annual event on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy, and if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm pissed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important.
And now the same is true in the face of flu.
Influenza has the power to infect millions.
But it's easy to protect yourself, your family, and your community.
The flu vaccine is safe and effective. And with COVID-19 still around,
it's essential. Together we can face flu season head on.
Visit michigan.gov/flu.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think.
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today.
Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal.
A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out?
Listen.
Can birds take pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Pure is what you make of it. It's feeling the sun warm your skin and a cool lake wash away your cares. Pure is turning a lighthouse and letting a ride through the woods turn into dinner by the shore. It's taking it all in and never taking anything for granted. The sun sets, the moon rises, and you realize the end of one perfect summer day is the beginning of another. Pursue your Pure in Pure, Michigan.
And now, back to the Splash.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. You can always stay up to date with us by joining us Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. for our live show, and join us all throughout the morning up until around 1 o'clock in the afternoon to see all the latest news and information throughout your community. Joining us now on the program is Bassi Shemtov from the Friendship Circle of West Bloomfield as we get ready for Sunday, August 27th at the Farber Soul Center on Drake Road, just south of Walnut Lake, for once again, though, the Walk for Friendship, celebrating inclusion and a supportive community right here in West Bloomfield Township. Before we get to Bassi and talk about this year's event, let's take a look back at last year's event so you can get a little taste of the fun and inclusion you'll experience in just a few weeks right here in West Bloomfield. Let's take a look.
The Friendship Circle is built on friendship. That's how it started.
Whatever we do, whether it's educational, recreational, we're always built on friendship.
Who's ready to give back to the community?
This is our 17th trip. This is an opportunity to bring our whole community together.
It is our families, it is our volunteers, it is our children and adults, all of our individuals with special needs. It's those friendships, one-on-one, that really makes Friendship Circle who we are.
You give to the Friendship Circle, you walk, and it gives back to the people, and it forms a real friendship circle.
It's just really very powerful. You walk around and you just see the magic, taking up an entire road, walking together. It's just incredibly powerful.
Friendship Circle is very important to me because this is the my daughter. Every time she came, she was excited and it gave me comfort. This is a very important program for our special needs community.
The community, just the positivity of contagious.
Is awesome. A year of growth and love and friendship and feeling of really one family.
We love Friendship Circle!
We will always be built on friendship, and it's our community that makes Friendship Circle this amazing.
The Walk for Friendship is Sunday, August 27th at the Farber Soul Center and walking to the JCC, and later on to the Mears Center for the full celebration of the event this year. Joining us to talk about that is the Executive Program Director and the co-founder of the Friendship Circle in West Bloomfield, Bassi Shemtov, joins us now on the Splash Live. Bassi, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on because this is one of the favorite events in the West Bloomfield community for over the summer, celebrating a great organization that does a lot of work for our special needs community and even for the greater community here in West Bloomfield Township. For those that aren't familiar with the Friendship Circle, give us a little bit of a background on some of the services that you're providing right here in our communities.
Okay, thank you. That video just brought a smile to my face. The walk is really exciting. So the walk really brings together what Friendship Circle really is, and that is bringing the entire community together. Everybody really feels like they're partners to the Hall program. And at Friendship Circle, we really pair up at the base, children with special needs, giving an opportunity to teens from across our entire community to really reap the benefit of having that special connection of true unconditional love. We have our individuals with special needs are just genuine. They are a friend for real, not based on superficial qualities or descriptions of what society deems to be important. So that is one division. And then we have our adult division that is paired up with our adults with special needs or in our village. So we have recreational, social, educational programming. And then we have our adult division for where we train with vocational opportunities as well as where they could create art. And then we sell the art in our gallery and online and where we have our other pop-up shows. So it's like, as you mentioned, it's really for the entire community because we are giving the opportunity for anybody who would like to really understand the importance and the beauty of somebody that has special needs. You could come in, volunteer, be a part of this community, and be a part of the energy, as somebody else on the video shared, which is really something that everybody mentions when they come around.
And what I love so much about observing this event every year that I've covered it is seeing that these are some real genuine relationships that are being built from people all across the community, both in the special needs community and within that community and from outside that community, joining them hand in hand on that day and beyond. You're forming these relationships, but also providing these opportunities in the community as well. And so the Walk for Friendship, how does that help to support these sort of programs all throughout the year?
So all of our programs, our weekly programs throughout the summer, we have camp and overnight camp. So all of our programs come to about 10% of what actually the budget is for Friendship Circle. So our annual walk is really our largest annual fundraiser that takes a real chunk and helps us do what we do. So, and there are many people that would need scholarships as well. But even if everyone paid what we charge for every program, it would only be 10% of our budget.
And so that's what's so important about getting involved in this walk. Not only are you celebrating an inclusive community and the message behind the Friendship Circle, you're also supporting this organization all throughout the year. So whether people are able to participate in the walk or not, what other ways are there that people can participate in the Walk for Friendship to, as you said, support these programs all throughout the year?
Yeah, and the nice thing about the walk is you could go to walkforfriendship.com. You could sign up as a walker where it will not cost you any money. This is a free event, and that's really done intentionally because we want the entire community to be able to join, whether you could afford to give a donation or not. That's really not the only reason why we have this walk. It's a real time to open it up to the entire community and say, you want to be a part of our life, which is our children and adults with special needs. We want you to learn from them because they are making the world a better place. And then, of course, if you go on walkforfriendship.com, even if you can't make it in person, you can give a donation, small or large. Every dollar counts. Every dollar will help. So throughout the year, you could volunteer, or for the walk, you could come be a part of it in person, bring your family, bring your friends, and you will experience the energy that you will just love.
Bassy Shemtov joins us on today's edition of the Splash Live. Just a little ways away from this year's Walk for Friendship. It is again on August 27th this year. That is on a Sunday. It begins at the Farber Soul Center just off of Drake Road, south of Walnut Lake Road. The walk then begins just after the opening ceremony at 11:30, about 11:45, walking to the JCC and walking to the Mir Center for the event that afternoon. Again, more information, walkforfriendship.com. They're looking to raise about $750,000, and at the time that we're doing this interview, they're about a third of the way there. Still plenty of time left to donate and to get involved. And Bassy, this is the 18th annual event. Last year's was the 17th. This year's going to be the 18th time. Why center this fundraiser and this gathering of the community into a walk? Where did that story really begin?
When we first went in from our trailer into our very first center on Mir Center, 2005, is when we thought, we need a way for the community to be able to feel it and support it in some way. And that was just the best idea. The first year was pretty amazing as the first year, and it just keeps growing each year. And besides for the funds, it is so important for the community to know that they can be a part of Friendship Circle, a part of this incredible community by physically just showing up and walking.
And it's a way for the community in its entirety to get involved too. Speak to the partnership that goes into making this happen, not just from your team at the Friendship Circle, but from West Bloomfield Township, from other organizations throughout the community and individuals too, and make this such a prolific West Bloomfield-centric event every year.
Yeah, and then all the corporate sponsors that join. What's cool about the Friendship Circle is that everyone can and does, whoever does support, whoever does sponsor, feels like it's their walk. It's not just some organization's walk and they're helping out, but it's their walk. They're a part of it. This year we're going to be having a great representation at all the plum markets for a week, really pumping up the walk, which I'm really excited about. This year, for the first time ever, we're doing a scavenger hunt that is going to be one cool event. Children, teens, adults will be able to race around finding our 7 different representatives of the divisions of Friendship Circle, of what Friendship Circle does. And once they find it, we're going to have a first prize, 2 runner-up prizes, where we're going to have significant gift cards for those 2 prizes. And then everyone that finds all 7 divisions will get the really one-of-a-kind, cool, beautiful baseball cap. Since 1994 Friendship Circle baseball cap. That's going to be amazing. So that's the first time ever. The walk is going to be energetic and fun, and really, most importantly, have an energy that will just give you a great feeling.
Bassi Shemtov joins us from the Friendship Circle. Bassi is the Executive Program Director and the co-founder of the Friendship Circle as we get ready for Sunday, August 27th, beginning at 10:30 a.m. for registration and running all throughout 3 p.m. for the walk, for an opening ceremony, for the events. For more information can be found at walk4friendship.com. That's walk4friendship.com. Information on how to get involved in the event, raise some money, become one of the top walkers and the top teams fundraising for this event as they look to raise money to support all their programs for the next year over. And Bassi, if getting involved in the community, if the inclusion and the community nature of this event isn't enough to get people out and get families out there, there's plenty of fun events and a celebration at the Mir Center that are also on the back half of this event. Give us a little bit of insight on what people can experience at this year's event and what sort of fun families and individuals can have in our community.
We have some of the coolest rides. We have our great big zip line that I know the kids absolutely always love, the bungee jump, the animals. Again, the scavenger hunt that's going to go through, free food, free t-shirt. I mean, you name it. You want to have a good time with your family. Come on, from the rides to the carnival activities to the face painting, the circus style small shows throughout the property. It is going to be a real fun celebration.
More information can be found on walk4friendship.com. Bassi Shemtov, the Executive Program Director and the co-founder of the Friendship Circle, joins us on the Splash Live today as we preview this year's Walk for Friendship. Bassi, another minute or so left before we'll need to move on today. Anything else we haven't talked about in terms of the Walk for Friendship or other ways people can get involved in the Friendship Circle all throughout the year?
If you know someone or have someone in your family that has special needs, we have everything from extra curricular activities for your younger children after school time, all day Sundays, and of course in the summer, which is almost finished, unfortunately. And then we have, if you have adults with special needs, we have great programming where you could sign up your child or suggest it to your friend. If you're someone that wants to volunteer, whether at the studio or in our village, if you're a teen that wants to volunteer, if you're a donor that would like to help support us, for any reason, friendshipcircle.org, reach out and we'd be happy to set up a time to meet.
Programs all throughout the year on friendshipcircle.org. You can learn more about this year's Walk for Friendship at walk4friendship.com. Bassi, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Live, the Walk for Friendship coming up late in August. You'll start to see signs all throughout the West Bloomfield community. I've already seen them this week as I've been out and about in the community going to and from Green Media Center. So the excitement is building and it's coming up in just a little bit over a week at the Friendship Circle, beginning at the Farber Soul Center on Sunday the 27th, a walk up to the JCC and up to the Mir Center for all the fun and events after that. A great way to participate in some good old-fashioned community fun and support a good cause in the process. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, celebrating our local athletes, making big news and big expectations coming their way as well on the gridiron as well as on the ice. Matt Catoni, our sports reporter, will join us next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of the world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Many people are feeling overwhelmed and struggling with mental wellness these days. So be kind to your mind. Give yourself permission to breathe. Share your feelings. You are not alone. Have hope. Talk to a Stay Well counselor for free confidential help 24/7 through the COVID-19 hotline.
And now, back to the Splash, live.
Back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. We're getting closer and closer to the kickoff of high school football season as well as college football season. And hey, look, in recent years, a lot of success on the gridiron for the West Bloomfield Lakers as well as our other local schools like St. Mary's, and those in neighboring areas of the Greater West Bloomfield community as well. So we're starting to see those players playing on Saturday and on Sundays, guys like Matthew Judon in the NFL, and I know many more to come in recent years, including some recent graduates from West Bloomfield High School. We're expected to have bigger roles in 2023 and 2024 on the college football side at major programs all throughout Division I. Joining us now to talk about these players and the expectations behind them this season is Civic Center TV sports reporter Matt Catoni, who will also be your color commentator for West Bloomfield High School football this season, with our first broadcast coming up in just a couple of weeks as the Lakers kick off their OAA season and a cross-division matchup with the Birmingham Groves Falcons. Matt, thanks for being with us.
Hi, Tyler. Thank you for having me. And as you mentioned, a lot of these athletes at the next level are looking to expand upon success they've already have, or even just make a name for themselves now that they're at the next level. One of these guys is Dillon Tatum for Michigan State. Last year, it was his freshman year there, and he kind of was forced into the lineup unexpectedly when their cornerbacks and defensive back room depth was tested. And he spoke recently about how he learned tremendously from being thrown in the fire last year and how it's helped him with not just, making him a better football player, but making him a better mentor for the younger guys behind him.
Yeah, Dillon Tatum expected to have a big season, a big role this year at Michigan State. Hey, they're coming up on celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the no-fly zone team, the Rose Bowl winning team. They'll celebrate them in September in their home game against the Washington Huskies, soon to be a Big Ten rival. And as we think about the no-fly zone era, perhaps the next big guy to come in with that sort of a role is Dillon Tatum, an exceptional nickelback and safety at West Bloomfield High School, and expected to be in a similar role this season for Michigan State, looking to make a huge improvement, which doesn't really you're not really saying much in that regard from their secondary last season. But Dillon Tatum going to be a huge part of that. And at that school down the road in Ann Arbor, your school, Matt Catoni, the University of Michigan. Makari Paige in a similar role for the University of Michigan, going to be starting for them at safety and also going to be playing a key role for them. Big expectations behind Makari Paige this year, not just at the University of Michigan, but on a nationwide level.
Yeah, last year was already an impressive enough season as it was. His 71 tackles, 48 solo, and 4 interceptions his solo tackles and interceptions were both team highs. He became just the second Wolverine since 2000 to reach 70 tackles and 4 interceptions in a single season. That type of play has got him on the preseason watch list for the Bronco Nagurski Defensive Player of the Year award. And it's really exciting to see what he might be doing this fall for Michigan this year, because it really could be special.
Yeah, that Michigan defense was excellent a season ago. Going to be a big year for them also, with national championship level expectations for them coming in. A lot of the early season polls have Michigan at number 2 in the country, looking like they are the presumptive favorite to win the Big Ten. Again, of course, it's going to be a lot of expectations are it's going to come down to that big game against Ohio State, this time in Ann Arbor in late October, to determine whether or not Michigan's going to be playing for the Big Ten title and presumably for a national championship. And Makari Paige, one of those guys that at his time in West Bloomfield was always a high impact player that made a lot of big plays for West Bloomfield, but also kind of had that Tim Duncan sense to him, a San Antonio Spur, a basketball player that was always very prolific at what he did, great at his craft, but not necessarily someone that's going to be always getting the spotlight on him and getting the praise that he deserves. So good news out of Ann Arbor on that front. One of our more recent stars at West Bloomfield High School, Semaj Morgan, also making big waves in Ann Arbor as he gets ready to begin his freshman season, impressing some of that coaching staff in these preseason practices, Matt.
Yeah, Semaj Morgan has been tremendous thus far for Michigan. He's even drawing some attention from Harbaugh, who said he's quick, fast, and shorter stature, but has a very big catch radius. He can catch the balls away from his body. He can high point. He's been tremendous, or pretty good for them so far. And that Harbaugh even said that a lot of the stuff that you see from him, especially his ability to get out of a break, stuff is something that he hasn't seen from a lot of players in general, let alone a freshman. So he's certainly...
it's been tough in recent years. It's tough in recent years, Matt, for the University of Michigan to recruit high-level wide receiver talent. You think about those top 100 rankings in that position, or top 100 players in the country at the wide receiver position, but perhaps could be the steal of recent years, picking up a guy like Semaj Morgan for that offense, replacing some really critical wide receiver talent from recent years that have graduated or moved on to other institutions.
Yeah, and I think that Semaj brings us something like a lot of the receivers that Michigan has had in recent years, like Ronnie Bell, DPJ, they're sort of like stronger in stature and bigger than Semaj. But whereas Semaj is kind of this new generation type wide receiver that's shorter in stature, but can make you miss, but is still able to make any catch with any cornerback.
And we know that Jim Harbaugh likes to get creative with his offense. So was the case for Ron Bellamy as head coach at West Bloomfield High School. And we also know that skill set of Semaj Morgan, kind of similar to Donovan Edwards, where he can play pretty much any position on that offense outside of the offensive line, although they definitely would give that the old college try. In this case, pun absolutely intended. So we could perhaps see Semaj Morgan maybe in the backfield a little bit on those screen passes or in a slot receiver position, or could be a guy that if he gets some significant wide receiver time on the outside, could be someone you use the speed of, use the athleticism of to take on some of those less athletic, so to speak, safeties and cornerbacks and take advantage of those defenses. Semaj Morgan could be a huge underrated player in this Michigan offense in 2023. Outside of the Big Ten, Cornell Wheeler, a former Michigan Wolverine himself and West Bloomfield Laker alum, getting some praise as well on the gridiron at the University of Kansas, looking like it could be a big year for Cornell for Kansas.
Yeah, he's entering an additional season there, another year with the coaching staff, and they seem very satisfied with the progress he's made. Their head coach stating that, I thought he had a good spring and he's really starting to show up again. So their head coach, Leopold, really thinks highly of how he's performing so far. And his position coaches talked about how he increased his knowledge to just go with his natural feel for the game already, which has just made him that much better of a linebacker as he already was.
Yeah, Kansas coming into this season and having really grown that program pretty well in past years and starting to develop a solid football program out there, and the defense playing a huge role in that. So hopefully a big year ahead for number 44, Cornell Wheeler, a West Bloomfield High School alum in his own right. Outside the gridiron, some other news happening in our local area from Greater West Bloomfield School alumni are happening over at Orchard Lake St. Mary's High School, where one of their legendary players from the early aughts and early 2000s, Jeff Petrie, coming home to the Detroit Red Wings this week after a trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is a guy that had a big career at Orchard Lake St. Mary's and now getting a chance to come home and play for his hometown team.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, he's from the area. He's the son of 1984 Tigers legend Dan Petrie, who I'm sure everyone here is familiar with from the Tigers games. But the 35-year-old was traded to the Red Wings, and they gave up Gustav Lindstrom and a fourth-round pick and aren't really responsible for that much of his salary, only having to take 50% of the contract that runs through the 2024-2025 season. And he's
helping to fill some of those gaps on the fill some of those gaps on the defensive side and also some scoring depth too.
Yeah, that's really what I think Yzerman's been going for this entire offseason. I think Petrie just speaks to that and will just build upon that. He gives them tremendous depth on the defensive front, and that's kind of what you've seen Yzerman try and do over the past few years with the Red Wings, just kind of build solid depth and not necessarily go after big stars. fill out the entire roster.
Yeah, we're seeing the Red Wings start to turn that corner a little bit from an on-paper standpoint, adding more veteran talent. Also, Farmington Hills native Alex DeBrincat being traded for earlier on in the season, a star that this team desperately needed to add to their roster alongside guys like another local guy in Dillon Larkin, and now having Jeff Petrie on the roster. So not necessarily intentionally building a team with a lot of local guys, but a lot of local talent happening to have make their way back home to the Detroit area to play for the Red Wings, and some good news from athletes all across our local area as we get ready to head into football season. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Give us the latest update.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Glad to have you on. You can always hear Matt and I on the West Bloomfield Lakers football games all throughout the fall. He'll be our color commentator. Our first broadcast against Birmingham Groves in week 2. That'll be August 31st, an away game before the West Bloomfield Lakers do come home for their home opener on Family Fun Night on September 8th. All those games on Civic Center TV and on 89.3 Lakes FM. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, a really fun night yesterday at Gino's Pre-Dream Cruise Car Show, plus how you can get involved helping to clean up Sylvan Lake this weekend. Stay tuned. You're watching and listening to the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear. Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiver.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. The rain early on in the week on Monday and Tuesday, delaying the annual Gino's Pre-Dream Cruise Car Show, but that didn't stop them on a beautiful sunny Wednesday night in the Greater West Bloomfield community. Over 200 cars showing up to the Pre-Dream Cruise event at Gino's Pizzeria and Restaurant and in the parking lot of Santia Hall. I was reading through the Keego Harbor Facebook community Facebook page last night during that event. People were even saying they were having some issues trying to find places to park. It was so packed there in the nearby areas, they had to go find other areas or neighbors that would let them park in their driveways or outside their homes just to get to this event. 213 cars and even more observers for last night's event. In the main picture, Calvin, that we had, car show number 1 is the label of that. For your reference, you would see 2 images in there. That this was the best of show from that particular category. The one to the right of that in the main image, it was their best paint categories. You can also see those in the Keego Facebook group by seeing Gino's post from last night. But plenty of great cars at that event, an early event that always happens early in the week of the Dream Cruise proper, usually on that Monday. But in this case, some storm activity, some rain, making people hesitant to bring their classic cars out and leave them outside in the elements. Luckily, yesterday, the perfect day for this event. A lot of classic cars of very, very different varieties out at Gino's for their annual event, and good to see that happen once again as we get into the thick of Dream Cruise Week. This weekend, an opportunity to help out your community on the lake in Sylvan Lake with Luna Moon SUP Yoga owner Misty Markham, who says over the past few years, just through her own efforts, she's collected thousands of parcels of trash from on the lake during her time working with her company, Luna Moon SUP Yoga, and in her own personal efforts. Now she wants your help joining her on Cleaning Sylvan Lake this weekend. Here's how you can get involved. Saturday, August 19th, this is a couple days from now, Luna Moon SUP Yoga will be holding a yoga session on the lake at 10 a.m. Stand-up SUP Yoga is stand-up paddleboard yoga. It's yoga on a paddleboard. You'll be able to participate in that at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and then participate in their lake cleanup beginning at 12 noon. Prizes are involved as well. You could be a big winner this weekend. A data collection will be taken on trash pickup from Luna Moon SUP Yoga, and whoever collects the most trash may be eligible for some prizes. So how do you get involved? Stay up to date with the Sylvan Lake Community Facebook page for more updates and information, or go to lunamoonsupyoga.com. That's Luna Moon SUP Yoga.com for more information, updates, and to get in contact with Misty and the team as she and the community get ready for this cleanup event. And Dayan, a great way to get involved in the community, get some good outdoor time, but also do something that's really helpful for our local lake areas. And you know, you think about Sylvan Lake and one of the more common areas of the community at the community center. Now, unfortunately, it's a fun time of the year. People are out on the lakes, but that means, you know, maybe a little more trash than we want to be having in our waterways. This allows people to get outside, clean up their community, and get to know some people as well. Have some fun too on the water.
Yes, Tyler, that is true. So these community cleanups, they play a vital role not only in beautifying our surroundings, but they also play a vital role in bringing us together. It strengthens our social bonds. It's also a community activity that promotes some sense of awareness when it comes to pollution or littering or even, you know, so I think that's a great initiative. Plus the yoga, so they're not only going to have fun and do some yoga exercises and enjoy their surroundings, but they're also contributing in making their spaces and their communities so much better. So that is indeed a great initiative.
Yeah, plenty of ways to get involved in the community, including this event over the weekend, beautifying the community, doing some cleanup. And we have events like these all throughout the year and all throughout all four of our communities. So good to always keep up to date on those. If you're looking for a new job or maybe a change in career altogether, perhaps that change of career can come with the West Bloomfield Township Police Department. They're looking for new police officers, looking to hire a new officer with pay range beginning at about a little bit under $52,000 for those that are Academy sponsored officers, and just under $57,000 for Academy graduates, and upwards of $82,000 as your salary if you have several years of experience in police work. Benefits include pension, Blue Cross Blue Shield, PPO insurance, 11 to 25 days of vacation per year, 13 paid holidays, personal days, sick days, overtime pay, and more. If you're interested in joining the ladies and gentlemen in blue in West Bloomfield, wbtownship.org/jobs for more information. But keep in mind, time is starting to run a little bit low on your ability to apply for this job. Application deadline is in September, so get on that right away if you are, especially, or if you know someone that's going through the academy or has graduated from the police academy and is looking for a great place to start. West Bloomfield Township's Police Department, one of the best rated in the state for people to start their careers and continue their careers in law enforcement. On the other side, jobs in Sylvan Lake, not in law enforcement, but rather in the service industry. A new restaurant coming to Sylvan Lake looking to hire plenty of employees in a variety of different positions, from bartenders and servers to kitchen jobs and more. They just had a little preview event over there earlier on this week. You're seeing some of the pictures from inside Live Bait and Gumar, the new restaurant at the old Pepino's location on Orchard Lake Road in Sylvan Lake. If you're interested in these job positions, you can email Brianna, BTC Hospitality @yahoo.com. That's Brianna, BRIANNA, BTC Hospitality @yahoo.com. Their hours will be Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., and then Sunday from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Looking for some new staff here in Sylvan Lake. Plus, some good news from the West Bloomfield School District coming up in just a few weeks. One of our favorite annual events in the greater West Bloomfield community, as it is West Bloomfield School District's Family Fun Night. That's going to be happening on September 8th, Friday, September 8th, beginning at 5 o'clock with some fun, some games, bouncy houses. Channel 955 will be there. Branches of the U.S. military will be there as well. And you can get in to the football game happening right after that, 7 o'clock. Stony Creek coming into town for the OAA Red Division season kicking off in West Bloomfield. And one of their only 3 home games of the season. So one of the few chances you'll get to see, at least in regular season play, hopefully another home playoff game with a better result this year is in the works for WB. But you can get into that game for free as long as you're wearing some West Bloomfield School District spirit gear, and find more information on WBSD.org. Other ways you can get involved in the community and get involved in a really good cause. Temple Israel putting forth some efforts to support those affected by the wildfires in Maui. Dayan Chaaban has the details on how you can get involved in this fundraiser and help people out in Hawaii who are affected at this time by these fires. Dayan.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Tyler, as we've seen on the news, they're devastating wildfires. They continue to ravage parts of Hawaii, and unfortunately, a lot of people lost their lives and a lot had to leave their homes. So Temple Israel has been calling out its Jewish community and people in our community in West Bloomfield to support these people who are unfortunately, they lost their homes and they're trying to get out of these areas into a safer spaces. They provided 2 ways in which you can support, and one of them is directly to the American Red Cross, and the other is through the Jewish Foundation of North America. So you can visit www.jewishfederations.org, and as in the home screen, Tyler, as you scroll downwards, there is a huge link with a huge picture to support people in Hawaii. So it's really easy. You can just go in, or you can also visit at Temple Israel's Twitter page. There's links for both the American Red Cross donation and the JewishFederation.org. So you can directly go through the links on their Twitter account or visit www.jewishfederations.org directly. Tyler, there's also another program that Temple Israel it's another initiative. It's community-based, and it's the Food Pantry Program. So the Food Pantry Program, they're trying to help people who have, unfortunately, we do have hunger issues in our community, and Temple Israel and the Jewish community is trying to help out. They're calling out for volunteers in our community to help them out. It's only 2 Thursdays in the month, so it's the 2nd and the 4th Thursday of each month, and it's only 2 hours from 2 to 4 p.m. on the 2nd and 3rd Thursday of the month. You can visit their website, templeisrael.org, and check out all the volunteer opportunities, but this is what they need help with the most right now. It's critical, and they need people to assist all those people that are facing hunger in our community, unfortunately, Tyler.
Yeah, a big issue that they're helping to tackle. They've been doing this for years, and it is a great event to get involved in, whether you're a volunteer or if you're in need in our community. And there are people in the greater West Bloomfield community and in Oakland County that are in need of food assistance. A great way to do so, to get that assistance as is needed. Dayan, with just about a minute left in our program today, I want to give you an opportunity to tell a really interesting story as we're getting toward Dream Cruise season. A local church passing vehicles as they get ready to go cruising on Woodward.
That is true, Tyler. So it is a cherished tradition at the St. Anastasia Catholic Church. They're hosting its annual blessing of the vehicles. Whatever vehicle you have, whether it's a vintage or trucks or RVs or motorcycles, you can go today at 6 p.m. located at 4571 Joan R. Road in Troy to bless your vehicles. And to the pastors, they consider this as a community event. They consider these cars as also, they need to be blessed because people spend most of their times in them, so it's for safety issues. And it's also They consider that people who can help others in their vehicles, like transport food or transport their loved ones. So they consider this a very cherished event. Again, it's happening today at 6 p.m. In Troy, located at 4571 Joan R. Road.
Plenty of fun happening this weekend with the Woodward Dream Cruise, and that begins even today in Troy. Plenty of more news and information all throughout the week. You can always stay tuned with us on the Splash Live all throughout the week and online on CivicCenterTV.com. We'll be back with more news soon right here on the Splash Live.